Welcome to the Head Shepherd Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Ferguson, CEO at Next and Agri International, where we help livestock managers get the best out of their stock. Before we get started, a big thanks to our three fantastic sponsors. Allflex, part of MSD, perhaps better known as Cooper's Animal Health in Australia, offers one of New Zealand and Australia's largest livestock product portfolios with a comprehensive suite of animal health and management products. Heineken is a one-stop shop for wool harvesting and animal fibre removal. The Heineken team have a deep understanding of livestock agriculture, backed by Swiss engineering and a family business dedicated to manufacturing the best. ProA Livestock Equipment have been delivering industry-leading livestock handling systems to producers across Australia, New Zealand and beyond for the last 25 years to improve on-farm safety, efficiency and profitability. We are grateful to our sponsors for their support, helping us bring Head Shepherd to you each week. And now it's time to get on with this week's episode. Welcome back to Head Shepherd. You're with Ferg. Great to have you listening along. As always, this week on the show, we feature Shannon Donoghue. Shannon is the South Australian Industry Relations Officer for Australian Wool Innovation, AWI, and has also got quite the following on TikTok. Not that I'm on TikTok, but as you'll hear in this episode, Shannon's telling the story of wool, mainly on TikTok, but on socials generally. She was, I sort of stumbled across her from that social following, I suppose, from my brother actually giving me, flicking me her details. So I thought we'd grab her and have a yarn, and great to have someone with passion for wool in the industry. And as you'll listen, she sort of loves to tell the story of wool, as obviously out in South Australia, chatting with growers frequently, but also making sure that message is heard across social media. So I'm sure you'll enjoy having a listen to Shannon and I chat all things social. I'm actually in Victoria at the moment, where it's been raining, and South Australia's had widespread rain. There's been a lot of rain through the pastoral areas. So fingers crossed that this pretty significant system has found some moisture and got to your place. Great to see the country getting a really, really good drink over here. Righto, we'll get underway with this week's show. Welcome, Shannon, to Head Shepherd.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Great to have you along. Actually, I'm sitting in the studio of my brother's, who was the person who recommended we have you on. I think he saw a Channel 9 or somebody did something on. Anyway, it was on the TV recently, and so he said
ABC,
ABC was it? Yeah, right. So you sent that along, and I'm like, that'd be good. We'll have a chat with Shannon.
No, I've had quite a few comments. Oh, I heard you on the radio the other day, or saw you on the news. So it's a bit of a anomaly for me.
Yeah, cool. We might just start with a bit of your background. Your current role is. I'm not sure the proper title, but a rep for AWI within South Australia and Tasmania. You'll know your title better than me. But, I guess the lead up to that role and your sort of career in wool.
Yeah, so, my current role with AWI is Industry Relations Officer for South Australia and Tasmania. Yeah, so I'm based up at Jamestown in the mid-north of SA, but originally from a sheep property in Narracor in the southeast of SA. So I grew up on my grandparents' farm down there, and I suppose for me, I didn't take too much of an interest in agriculture when I was little. It's not until I guess I got to high school that I started doing ag, and I started showing lead steers, which you might think, being in the wool industry, that's a far cry from being in wool showing cattle. But I think that really ignited my passion for the ag industry. I saw that there was a huge world out there that, going through the shows and that sort of thing, you meet so many incredible people. And after school, I then went into the sort of stud scene. But during school, my ag teacher said, Shannon, what the bloody hell are you going to do with yourself after you leave year 12? And as a teenager, I suppose I was a bit nonchalant and I don't know. What are you supposed to do for the rest of your life? At the time through high school, I was doing a lot of young judges competitions. So it's from people aged from, I believe it's 15 to 25, judging a whole array of different things. So for me, it was merino fleece and merino sheep. But, there's other things like grains, cattle, all different things like that. So I was getting really good at the young judges comps, obviously in wool. So she suggested, have you thought about a career as a classer? And for me, I said, well, not really. My grandpa, along with farming, he was a shearer for 40 years. And he always used to say to me, Shannon, don't ever become a shearer. So I thought to myself, why would I work in the sheds? But I didn't really know what else I wanted to do. So I gave it a whirl. So my first year out of high school, I started in the shearing sheds, and it took me a couple of years to really fall in love with it. It wasn't until I started traveling and going away for work and seeing different regions and meeting new people, that's where I fell in love with the industry. And finally, I realized this is for me. So after doing that for a couple of years, I then got my wool classing stencil. And then, I took off all around Australia, overseas in the sheds. And then I was given the great opportunity to become a wool handling trainer for AWI, or shearer wool handler training. So that really, I suppose, solidified in my mind what AWI was about, and how passionate we were about getting that next generation of shearers and wool handlers through. Because at the end of the day, if you can't get the wool off, we can't sell the wool overseas into different countries. So I did that for a couple of years. And then in 2023, the job role came up for AWI, and I guess the rest is history. Here I am.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a really cool story. A full circle back into the wool industry from early days. Maybe quickly we'll talk about what that role entails now, and then we'll move into sort of, I guess, the storytelling, your passion for telling the story of wool, and what's good about the great story we have got, I suppose.
Yeah, so the role of industry relations officer is basically the conduit between the wool grower themselves on the ground and head office in AWI. I think prior there might have been a bit of disconnect between the wool grower and head office and what AWI actually did. It's not uncommon for me to see farmers and I don't really know the extent of what we do through market research, obviously development and that sort of thing. I think a lot of the time if they see a shearing trainer, they know that's a big part of it, but I don't think they fully understand the full marketing side of things as well as what sort of research we go into. So I guess that's that our job on the ground is to really convey that message, is what we actually do at AWI. And at the end of the day, we are a company for the wool grower. So if you don't tell us as a wool grower what you want, we can't obviously implement that. So that's what we do on the ground. Excellent.
Now, talk us through about, I guess, telling wool story, how you sort of go about it, and what, maybe what surprised you, what the impact you can have by actually people telling the great story that wool has got to tell.
I suppose for me, when I was in the sheds, I would go to these different places and see this incredible scenery. And oftentimes you'd see on TV or magazines the incredible lifestyle you'd see as a ringer in the top end working on a cattle station. But there was just nothing like that, I don't think, in the sheep field. It's, it's dirt, it's bikes, it's choppers, it's dust, it's all these incredible things that you see. And it's really romanticized in the cattle industry. So for me, when I was going to these amazing places, I bought myself a drone and thought, I'd really love to share this with people. And I suppose that's when I took to social media, particularly TikTok is what I use the most. And I suppose it is really highlighting what we do as an industry. It's not glamorous all the time, but I think romanticizing it a little bit to really encourage the next generation to come through. There's, can be quite a labour shortage in the industry. So I think it's really important to tell that story that this is a place that you want to be. This is cool. There's so many opportunities. You don't have to be a farmer or a musterer or whatever. There is so many opportunities within the industry, whether that's research, livestock advisor, whatever it might be. You don't even have to like livestock personally. There's just so many different avenues. And I think for me, that's so important to convey that message. The recent series that I've got on TikTok is Shan's Weekly Wool Facts. So I'm trying to do 52 weeks of wool facts, and it's about all different things, whether it's markets, about sheep in general, about the wool in general. And it's trying to send that message that there's so much to sheep. We may perceive them as silly animals sometimes, but there is a lot more to them than what we perceive. And I think it's important to just get that education out there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm way too Gen X for TikTok, so I haven't. That clearly explains why I haven't come across your socials, because I'm on the wrong platforms. But maybe talk us through. The setup. I think people are often scared of those first steps of taking a bit of a video of yourself and talking to camera and all that sort of stuff. But what I've found, you don't need very good setup, and you don't to be able to portray what we're up to. You don't need great setup, and you just, because we are in some stunning places and with some amazing people most of the time, it kind of tells its own story.
I guess for a long time, I didn't really show my face on social media. It was very much all drone stuff, which even today people love that, don't you? Yeah. I'd much rather watch a drone video than see myself on TikTok personally. But it did take me a little while to get used to the camera. I suppose it's like anything. Some people are just naturally good in front of a camera. For me, it took a fair while to get used to it. It's getting used to hearing the sound of your own voice back on video and not jumbling the words and actually figuring out what you want to say. I think that's quite often the problem. Well, what do I want to tell people? And it is the story of wool. It's, different, whether it's different career pathways or about the animal itself or different locations you can go. It's, for me, all I really use is a drone and an iPhone and a tripod. I have no fancy setups. So my content really ranges from the drone videos, like I said, that people love them. That's what I'm known for. I'll often turn up to farms and, oh, you're the drone girl. So not normally by name, just the drone girl. The weekly wool facts. And of course, there's some silly ones in there as well, given that Australia's been sort of battling drought, fire, flood. Sometimes it's just nice to have a laugh. And if you can have a laugh at my expense, then I am more than happy to put myself out there for that.
Yeah, awesome. Who's following? And then, give us what's the demographic of people following? We're getting outside of the industry. I'm hoping people following along and seeing what's happening. Yeah,
some of my different ones, doing ones around wool processing, particularly. I've done a couple through China and Egypt. They really went out to the wider community outside of agriculture. So they went to probably people that are just interested in textiles in general. So I think that's really important. Oftentimes, both farmers and people outside don't really know how wool is processed. Yes, the majority does go to China, but outside of that, a lot of people don't understand the nitpicky of it. And I suppose I didn't really either until you really see it firsthand. So that was a great way for me to showcase, how it's actually processed. The rest of my content generally is for people within agriculture or take an interest. The wool facts, I'd like to hope, goes to, all different types of people. But, I suppose most of it would go to most, farming or agricultural communities.
Yeah, I guess just through osmosis, it ends up in other places and, it leaks into the wider community, which is kind of has a double benefit then of just promoting the industry to people outside of the industry. The what's been talk us through the kind of response you get, and is it game changing for you, or is it just sort of a small part of what you do and hasn't really changed the future for you?
I think it is quite a small. I guess it plays big roles. In general, it's a small part, but I think for me, just the education of it all, that a lot of people are, oh wow, I didn't know that. And for me, if I can teach someone something, or you walk away happy from a video you've seen or whatever it might be, that's a win for me. So there's some small and some big wins when I'm doing social media. I think, like I said, educating people of how wool is processed, where it goes, that's a huge part for me. I guess it's like any commodity, I don't know anything about oil, where it goes, how it gets processed. No. And it's potentially, that sort of information wasn't really readily available, I suppose, unless you go searching for it. So I hope it does hit that target audience of, if you buy a wool garment, this is where it starts and this is the process to get there. It doesn't just turn up as a shirt. There's a whole story to it. Whereas if you're buying synthetic fibres, I don't think there's as much of a story. It really, it is a beautiful tale of how it gets from fibre to fashion, how it gets shorn, and it becomes a item of clothing. So I guess that's really what I want to convey is, it's this whole tale, it's this whole pipeline, and people should be proud to wear wool.
Yeah, definitely proud to own it. And if you live where I do in New Zealand, you're crazy if you don't own it, because you kind of need 5 layers of merino just to get on with most days. But which is a massive, I guess that's what most Australians probably don't appreciate, maybe because they haven't grown up in those cooler climates, and obviously we sell into Europe and stuff where serious winters is where merino really comes into its own. And having I grew up on farms, lived in Australia for whatever 30 something years, and never really wore that much wool other than maybe the prickly school jumper and all the bad stories. But as soon as you get merino next to the skin in a cooler climate, or even in a half warm climate, it's a pretty phenomenal fabric. I think what I often sort of talk about is that you don't actually need to care about wool that much because it's such a good fibre that it will sell itself if you wear it in the right situations. Like I run in doing this crazy 2,000K challenge this year, and I run most days in merino wool, and it's phenomenal at just wicking that moisture away. So its properties sell itself, but obviously synthetics are cheap and easy to get and easy to care for. But I think the wool products now are just such good products that we don't need to sell them. We just need to get people to try them for the first time. But
it is a tricky one, I suppose. With cost of living, I do understand that it can be hard to clothe families with 100% natural fibres, whether that is wool, cotton, whatever it might be. It can be tricky. A lot of my Kiwi mates, I find, would probably wear a lot more wool than what Australians would. I think, perhaps whether it's growing up in those colder climates, swan dry is obviously quite massive over there, especially if you're into hunting and that sort of thing. So perhaps brand representation is a lot stronger there. You do speak to a lot of farmers and you ask, they say, we need to market wool in Australia. And then you ask them, well, how much wool are you wearing? And you're lucky if they're wearing wool socks. So it's one of those things that you grow this amazing fibre for 12 months, but you're not wearing it yourself. So I think it's important that we back our own industry and we wear what we grow, I suppose. That's pretty important to me is, I think, and now that I understand the entire pipeline, it is a lot more appreciation for what we do and how far it's come. Whereas, synthetics, it is, I guess, cheap, nasty. It doesn't last long. And there's, as most people would know listening to the podcast, the amazing benefits of wool that, is odor resistant, that keeps you cool in summer, warm in winter, as you'd know from your running and living in New Zealand. There's so many incredible benefits that synthetic fibres just don't offer.
Yeah, definitely. And there's certainly lots of farmers out there who put wool carpets in and do all the things. We haven't replaced the carpets with our joint yet, so we've still got our dirty synthetics on the floor, but looking forward to it when they disappear. You're right on the price point, but I think, I don't know, like it wears and wears and wears. Like the merino running shirts I've given an absolute flogging to, and they get run in and washed every day pretty much, and they just keep going. So it's I definitely don't feel like I'm getting jibbed for value for money, but I think
sometimes we might be scarred from our grandma's scratchy blankets. And I think in Australia that is probably still the narrative that, wool's itchy, it's this, it's that. But wool has come so far in the technology, especially that shift since COVID. It really shifted to a lot of casualisation. So people weren't wearing suits so much to the office simply because we weren't going there during COVID. So it is a lot more in your loungewear and athletic wear. And I think that's the market that people, especially younger people, are really going to pick up, is that it's what you're going to be wearing every day. You don't need to go out and it's in your coats or your suits or big sweaters. It's what you're going to be wearing every day, and you will be wearing summer shirts or dresses or trousers or whatever it might be. So I think as bad as COVID was, it, I guess, really opened up an opportunity for wool to go into different markets. For me, I do wear wool most days, and that is with woolen shirts. And there's so many great brands in Australia as well. And there's a lot of affordable places. If you go to Uniqlo, although that is a Japanese brand, there's a really great range in there, and you can pick up a shirt or a sweater for I think about $50 or $60. Audi is a really great one. They often have a lot of wool in there. So it doesn't have to be this niche, super expensive product that you buy. You can really buy it at affordable price points. Yes, if you're going and buying a full wool suit, yes, you will pay the price, but it will last your lifetime. So I think that's what I love most about it is accessible to most people, and it will last you a long time if you look after it. And I think, again, traditionally, wool might have been a bit harder to look after, but with the technology in wools now is, you can chuck it in the washing machine. You don't have to hand wash it because we do live in an age of convenience, and I personally don't want to be sitting there hand washing things. And if it doesn't go in the washing machine, I don't want it. So that's why, the way technology is now with wool, it's really great for the everyday consumer.
I've only got two rules. One, clothes can only go in the washing machine, and dishes, if they can't go in the dishwasher, they're no good to us either. So,
I agree.
Shannon, you mentioned wool's had a bit of a run at the Winter Olympics, which everyone's watching at the moment with complete amazement, wondering how the hell people do what they do on skis and other things on the snow.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if anyone knows, but the Australian team is actually wearing wool in their uniforms. So XTM Performance, which they're using when they're doing all of their super cool activities. XTM Performance, which is Woolmark certified. So we're super proud to bring that to the Australian team. But in their official uniform, they were wearing a Sportscraft wool blend jacket. So it was great to see that on the main stage, as well as Volley have some sheepskin lined shoes. So Volley's a bit of a throwback for me. I was wearing them when I think I was about 12 years old and haven't really heard of the brand since. But it's really great to see these Australian brands really promoting wool and having them on the front stage. And there's a few different countries, I believe Canada, the US, and there's a few others that are in the Winter Olympics at the moment that are wearing wool in their uniforms. So it's really exciting to see Australian wool being used on the world stage in high performance athletic conditions, such as the Olympics. So I guess that really does show and tell the story that wool is here to stay, especially in the sports space. And I would say, yeah, I hope everyone's watching the Winter Olympics and spotting out the wool garments.
Yeah, you'd be crazy not to be wearing it. A few of those guys were there, yeah. But no, it's a fantastic story. We might change tact a little bit, and this is without notice, but you're obviously in the heart of in an area that's had a pretty tough couple of years. We're starting to see seasons rebound a bit. Meat prices are good, wool prices starting to lift. Is we're seeing a bit of upside in the industry out and about?
Yeah, there's absolutely a change in attitude towards the industry. It's still across South Australia pretty dry. The southeast had a really great spring, one of the best on record, which is really nice. Through that Mallee region, it's still very dire down there. I do feel for them. It's they just haven't had a break at all. Up through the mid-north where I live, we're definitely looking for a rain sooner rather than later. So fingers crossed for this weekend, hopefully. There was a whole heap of rain up through the Hawker region not that long ago. But yeah, all through the pastoral, they're searching for it as well. So I guess much like everywhere, we're looking for rain. But overall, there has been a real positive shift in the sheep industry. A lot of people were thinking, do they get out of sheep and go into cropping, or do they go into an alternative breed, whether that's shedders or something else? But yeah, since the shift in the wool market, it was great to see one of the strongest opening prices this year in the wool market. So I think that really invigorated quite a lot of wool growers. It is a tricky one with the drought that's been restocking. I think there's been a lot of hard decisions over the last 18 months, and that is having to get rid of stock, and that's your good breeding stock often. So yeah, we're at that rebuild point, and I guess farmers do need to make that decision. Are we going to rebuild? Are we mating our old ewes? Are we going to make the young ones? Are we putting a terminal over? There's a lot of choices to be made. So, but as a whole, it's really nice to hear some positive feedback, and that is through both meat and wool.
Yeah, definitely, and fingers crossed everyone gets a drink this year. It's been a fair distance between them, for particularly there in South Aussie's. Yeah, there's been. I mean, everywhere has their days in and out of drought, and but yeah, I feel like they've certainly done their time in the last few years. Yeah, while it continues to rain in New Zealand, which is talking to a bloke this morning who's had 400 mil for January, and it's just insane how different it is. But anyway, that's usual, I guess, but. Recently, AWI and the Extension Network have been running sticky bake days, which I think farmers love nothing more than getting on someone else's farm and having a look around. It always amazes me that when you go to any sort of event, someone starts a shearing plant, everyone will turn up and watch, even though they've seen thousands of sheep shorn. And the same about getting on farm. People love seeing other people's places. Talk us through the format of those days, I guess, and there's a few more coming up, I think, and how they've been.
Yeah, so we have a great host of speakers. So the focus is really rebuilding the flock. As I mentioned before, it's been a challenging sort of 18 months here, and it's going through multiple different options because not one size fits all. And it is, are you hanging on to those old ewes? Are you taking the young ones? Or I guess, it's having a look at what options are available. Is this financially going to suit you? Do you have the stock on hand? Are there sheep in the region to buy to do what you need to do? So, the Sticky Beak Days have been all over South Australia. This week we've been on the Eyre Peninsula and Mid-North, and next week we head down to the southeast and Mallee. So a lot of different operations. Some people have had new shearing sheds built. Some have got new yards. Others are more showcasing their feedlot and containment setups. And I suppose there's been a real shift into containment in the last few years and the importance of when we need it in tough times. There's been a lot of farmers in the last 12 months say, oh, gee, I wish that I had put containment in the last drought or after, you sort of revived from that. Because that's the thing, at the end of the day, it is farming and we will have dry years and hopefully they're further apart than, closer. But it's one of those things. It is, you have to be prepared, I suppose. And it was a bit tricky, I guess, with the lack of rain. There was just no hay, no grain to be buying. So those guys that really did put away a lot of feed were not too bad, but the ones that were struggling that hadn't had rain in a long time or don't have the facilities, I suppose, to store as much feed on hand, it's, a bit of a tricky one for those guys. So it's a good look to see what other people are up to. And as you said, farmers love to see what everyone else is up to. And that's how we all learn, is seeing what everyone else is up to, asking those questions. And it's a good break, I think, mentally. It's nice to get off your own farm and see something else. Even if other people aren't winning it and it's not green pastures, it's just nice to see you're not in it alone. We are all in it together, and, there might be something in their business that you can implement in yours.
Yeah, exactly. And it's no point everyone making the same mistakes. It's great to learn from other people and get around some of them. Awesome. Thanks, Shannon. Thanks for your time today. All the best with keeping those, or thanks very much for keeping that wool story being told across TikTok. One day I may get on TikTok, but it's probably not going to be anytime soon. But obviously, great to have you out there telling the story. And I'll have to find a way to get a hold of those drone footage without having it on TikTok. But we appreciate your time today and all the best.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening, and thanks again to our 3 fantastic sponsors. Donoghue, who are proud world leaders in the manufacturing and supply of professional sheep shearing and clipping equipment. Allflex Livestock Intelligence, part of MSD Animal Health, offer extensive livestock product portfolio focused on animal health management, all backed up by exceptional service. ProWay Livestock Equipment offer turnkey solutions from design through to professional installation and specialise in facilities that are tailored to your specific operation for all livestock species. We thank these 3 great companies for their ongoing support of the Head Shepherd podcast.